Brand new from Losi, we have the Super Lasernut, and this is a massive off-road rock racer that's got some pretty interesting surprises under the hood. Before we get started, if you want all the latest news and reviews, bashing and crashing, make sure you get subscribed. We're doing that here first. Now this rock racer is going to be absolutely massive. It's 30 inches long, which is the same length as a Traxxas x-maxx. It actually has a longer wheelbase than a Traxxas x-maxx. It's going to be a little bit more narrow, and it's got some pretty cool stuff under the hood, plus a couple disappointing things that I'm surprised to see in this price range. Starting from the outside, we've got plenty of scale detail on here, including a really nice body that covers up a full plastic cage, lights on the front and rear, and if these are anything like the smaller version, those lights are going to be super bright and look really, really cool. We've got driver figures inside, plastic details on the back like fire extinguishers, and a bunch of other stuff that makes this thing look really, really nice. But under the hood is where I think things get really interesting and maybe a little bit concerning. This is based on the same Losi RTR8 platform that we previously reviewed and that they recently released a Truggy on, but this thing is huge compared to those vehicles, and it's running on 6S instead of 4S. Now, if you didn't see my previous video on that Losi 8 RTR, make sure you check it out, because we do run 6S in that video, and it was able to handle it, but again, that's a much smaller, lighter vehicle. This is a pretty well spec'd out platform, but I'm a little bit skeptical about this thing being able to handle 6S power with all of that weight. We're gonna find out, because I am gonna get one of these pre-ordered. I'm actually really excited to see how this thing drives and handles. The original Lasernut was pretty fun, but it wasn't super durable out of the box, and it also didn't handle the best in the world, so hopefully they've made some improvements here. Being on a full race platform definitely should help. Speaking of that race platform, this is going to be an all-steel drivetrain. It's going to have 3 sealed differentials. It's going to be sporting dog bones in the rear and CVDs in the front, as well as aluminum hubs in the front and plastic hubs in the rear. This will have fully adjustable turnbuckles, and those turnbuckles will be connected to stamped steel towers. Of course, this is going to have unique bumpers, and attached to that rear bumper is going to be a hinged system that allows you to remove that body really, really easily for accessing the battery and doing work on the vehicle. Powering this is going to be the standard V2 150 amp Firma ESC and motor combination that we most recently saw in the V2 EXB Creighton. Handling steering on this is going to be the Spectrum 905 large scale servo. This thing is brass geared, but it has 555 ounce-inches of torque, which should be plenty of power, but I'm not sure if it's going to be plenty of durability. We'll just have to find out. That servo is going to be steering some giant BF Goodrich licensed tires, which look really nice. Although in the video they do seem to balloon quite a bit, so we'll have to see how that affects handling in the real world. Tying this all together is going to be a unique 4mm stamped aluminum chassis. However, like I said, a lot of these parts are not going to be unique. They're going to be from that RTR8 race platform, which means that a lot of these parts are already going to have upgrades available from the 8XTE kit cars. Obviously, not everything is going to be compatible, but there should be quite a few things that you can just go right out and buy and upgrade, such as the front knuckles, rear hubs, and quite a few other parts. And then, of course, attached to that chassis is that gorgeous scale body. Helping control roll from that scale body is going to be sway bars in the front and rear, and they've also included a fake rear sway bar for some more scale detail. Speaking of things that aren't fake, that's a full-size real spare tire on the back. I'll probably be taking that off of mine just because having that much weight hanging off the back tends to negatively impact handling, but again, we'll have to wait and see how it feels when I get my hands on one. Controlling all of this is going to be the Spectrum DX3 transmitter, which is great to see on a vehicle this expensive. However, we are getting the SR315 receiver, not the higher end AVC compatible receiver that I would expect to see in a vehicle that's this expensive, and that's pretty disappointing. Losi's saying this will do over 50 miles an hour. Of course, it probably won't do that out of the box off-road. That's something we'll definitely be testing. These are going to be ready to go in July. They're available for pre-order right now, as long as you've got $800 to spend. Depending on how you look at this, that seems like a bargain or a lot of money. If you look at its size and all of its awesome scale detail, this is cheaper than an x-maxx and the same scale as an x-maxx. However, things get a little bit more muddy because, again, this is that Losi 8 RTR race car platform, and at least on paper, it seems a little under-spec'd for the size of this vehicle. Of course, that's all just supposition. We're gonna have to find out when I get my hands on one. Make sure you get subscribed if you want to see that, then make sure you check out one of these videos.